9,000 feet below the Denmark Strait, we approach the legendary HMS Hood, destroyed in 1941.
The battlecruiser lies in three major sections, torn apart by a magazine explosion. The metal is cold, corroded by 8 decades of salt water.
These 15-inch guns never fired back at the Bismarck.
The explosion ripped through multiple decks in seconds.
Only 3 of the 1,415 crew members survived the sinking.
Personal weapons and ammunition scattered across the debris field.
Navigation equipment frozen in time from that fatal morning. Personal belongings tell stories of ordinary men who never made it home.
We continue deeper into the wreckage, searching for answers to this tragedy. The crew had no time to escape from their battle stations.
Each dog tag represents a family that never received closure. The ship's propulsion system, now a monument on the ocean floor.
Every compartment holds unexpected discoveries and unexpected residents.
Personal effects preserved in the cold, deep water for over 80 years.
The bridge where Captain Holland gave his final orders.
Officers remained at their posts until the very end.
The last order given was full speed ahead into battle.
The magazine explosion that doomed Hood originated beneath these turrets. Thousands of rounds of ammunition never fired in her defense.
This is Ground Zero, where the fatal shell penetrated Hood's armor. The magazine crew never knew what hit them. Young sailors, some barely 20 years old, entombed forever. Young sailors, some barely 20 years old, entombed forever.
The structural damage reveals the catastrophic force of the internal explosion. Firefighting equipment rendered useless in mere seconds. Officers' personal sidearms, symbols of duty and honor.
The stern section settled nearly half a mile from the bow.
Off-duty crew caught in their sleeping quarters during morning watch.
The ship's bell, a sacred artifact waiting to tell its story.
The galley crew was preparing breakfast when the explosion occurred.
A meal that would never be served, frozen in time.
The engine room where tremendous power once drove this battlecruiser.
Engineers fought until the last moment to keep the ship operational.
The instruments recorded the final catastrophic moments.
The radio room where the final distress signal was never sent. The radioman at his post when the ship was struck.
Official logs that documented her final voyage into history.
This is likely where Bismarck's fatal shell penetrated the armor. Air defense crews remained vigilant even as the ship was dying.
The officers' quarters, where strategic decisions were made hours before the battle. Senior officers who led with courage in their final moments.
Personal memories of loved ones left behind in Britain.
Navigation instruments that plotted the final course toward destiny.
Lookouts who first spotted the German battleship Bismarck.
The communication system that carried the final battle orders.
One of Hood's distinctive smokestacks, now part of the debris field.
One of Hood's distinctive smokestacks, now part of the debris field.
The targeting systems that attempted to track the Bismarck.
Ammunition handlers working in the ship's most dangerous compartments.
Secondary armament that never had a chance to engage the enemy. The ship's surgeon prepared for casualties that would never arrive.
Medical supplies preserved in the cold depths for over 8 decades.
Hood carried reconnaissance aircraft for fleet operations.
The scout plane that would have reported enemy positions.
The chapel where crew sought comfort before battle.
Sailors who prayed in their final moments.
Each artifact tells a story of those who served aboard.
The ship's power plant, torn apart by the catastrophic explosion.
Engineers who kept Hood operational until the very end.
The armor plating that failed to protect Hood from Bismarck's shells. The fire control team attempting to coordinate Hood's guns.
Navigation equipment that guided Hood to her final position.
The superstructure crushed by the force of the magazine explosion.
Communication flags that flew Britain's naval pride.
The anchor that would never be dropped again. Officers who shared their last meal together hours before battle. Dining equipment from a more civilized time aboard the battlecruiser.
Emergency stations that could not save the rapidly sinking vessel.
The torpedo room prepared for submarine defense that never came.
Sophisticated weapons technology rendered obsolete in seconds.
The catastrophic structural failure that doomed 1,500 men. The ammunition supply system caught in its final moment of operation.
The aft lookout station that tracked Bismarck's approach.
Anti-submarine arsenal never deployed in surface combat. Officers' uniforms that symbolized British naval tradition.
The searchlights that illuminated enemy vessels in night battles. The electrical crew who kept Hood systems running until power failed. The open deck where crew assembled for morning muster just before battle. Lifeboats that could not be launched in the 6 minutes Hood took to sink.
Life-saving equipment that failed to save anyone in the freezing waters. The flag bridge where Admiral Holland commanded the battle squadron. The Admiral's personal telescope that tracked the German fleet. The fire control tower that coordinated Hood's main battery.
The gunnery team calculating firing solutions against Bismarck.
The tactical plots that guided Hood's final maneuvers.
The proud bow that once cut through Atlantic waves, now pointing toward the surface.
The bakery that prepared fresh bread for 1,500 crew members daily. Daily routines interrupted forever by the magazine explosion.
Evidence of the upward blast that ripped through multiple decks.
Time stopped forever at the moment of Hood's destruction. Personal treasures that meant everything to sailors far from home.
The propulsion system that drove Hood at speeds over 30 knots.
The proud emblem representing the Royal Navy and the British Empire. We honor the 1,415 souls who rest here in their steel tomb. HMS Hood remains a war grave, protected and respected beneath these cold, dark waters.
The pride of the Royal Navy, forever resting in the Denmark Strait, a monument to courage and sacrifice.